We're here in the great state of Kansas, checking out all the sites, and that includes this one here in Abilene, Kansas. That's right, folks. We're at the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum. Dwight D. Eisenhower was born in Denison, Texas, but his family moved here to Abilene, Kansas in 1898. His mom was a Jehovah's Witness, but Dwight never took on a religion of his own until 1952. He lived here in this house behind me until he went to West Point in 1915. At West Point, he distinguished himself as a leader, and it wasn't long before he was a captain commanding an army post called Camp Colt in a very famous place. You know it as Gettysburg. Camp Colt was a training facility for tanks, for commanders that were going to be going to fight in World War I. They literally used the fields of Pickett's Charge as training grounds. This is back in the 1915, 1916, 1917. And this is also the time when Eisenhower fell in love with the Gettysburg area, and he and Mamie decided eventually that they would retire there. Eisenhower would have been famous enough as it was, just being a commander, the supreme Allied commander, in fact, in World War II, the mastermind of the D-Day invasion, and coming home to a hero's welcome. That would have been enough to put him on the map and have this place be remembered forever. But it's when he ran for president in the 1952 election and won that gave him a second career of fame. The 1950s was generally a quiet-ish time, in a time of prosperity for most of the American public. There were still plenty of things going on in the background, and of course, Eisenhower had to deal with the tail end of the Korean War. He also was the one who authorized the Bay of Pigs invasion that eventually got carried out under Kennedy. So it's not like there was nothing going on. One of the most notable things that Eisenhower was behind was a system of roads that was kind of a big deal. You see, when he was in Germany at the end of the war, he had seen the Autobahn and realized that that was a great way to move an army. He said, we should have something like that. So what did he do? He created the Eisenhower interstate system. Most of us have probably driven on an interstate, maybe even today. Behind me is the House of Meditation right here on the grounds. This is where Dwight and Mamie are laid to rest. You can take your time and have a moment to go in and meditate and pay your respects to the President and First Lady. When you're on the road, sometimes things just don't go quite as planned. Kind of like a flat tire. Oh well, what do you do? After a quick stop for repair, we headed on to the next location. Separate but equal? Far from it. Here in Topeka, this is where Brown versus the Board of Education took out Plessy versus Ferguson. Just up the street, just only about 3 or 4 blocks on Van Buren, You find the Van Buren School. This was the white school at the time, and the school in question that the Brown family wanted their daughter to go to. It was closer. She only lived about 4 blocks away from here to the north. In 1951, the Brown family, who had a daughter attending Monroe Elementary, was a little upset, and rightfully so, because they lived very close to a school, but had to come all the way over here to this school because they were segregated. They filed a lawsuit and went all the way to the Supreme Court, and that ended Plessy versus Ferguson.